Screencast is going to cover Chapter 8, Lesson 5 and 6 in the Dream We've Revealed series. Continuing on our soccer picture, last thing we did was melt this dude's face in Photoshop. And we're going to continue working with and learning more about masked layers. So let's keep moving. Let's click on the text layer. This says get in the game, and let's make it active, and let's click on it so we can actually see it. So it's get in the game, black letters. Now there are some things we can do to the overall image. If you look up here on your adjustments panel, if you don't have the adjustments panel, go to Window, Adjustments. But in this adjustments panel, you have some default tools. So if you look at this brightness and contrast, go ahead and click on brightness and contrast. What that does is it brings in a new layer on top of the last layer you were working on. So if you adjust brightness and contrast, new layer it automatically makes, and it opens up the properties panel. The property panel allows you to then adjust the image darker or lighter as a whole. So let's drop this down to about -25 brightness and our contrast, about -20. Just one more thing that we can kind of do. You can also change the blending mode of that. For example, you're on the brightness layer. If you look at the opacity, there is a mode for that layer as well. For example, we can go ahead and do soft light, and you can see that actually gives you a different type of effect on the layer because you changed the mode that it was in. Okay, kind of continuing on, and let's look at creating a clipping mask. So we just did some brightness and some levels. These options up here would be something to look at eventually. So now we're going to make a clipping mask, which is basically going to bleed through our text. If you check this image out, see how the grass appears through the text? That's what we're going to do. So we're going to take our just kind of plain Jane black text and get that to look out. So let's go ahead and take the get in the game, and let's move it down here, about here or so. And let's take the layer itself and let's drop it down right above the background layer underneath the soccer field layer. Now in order for this thing to become a clipping mask, hold down Alt on the computer and then put your cursor right between those two layers to where you see a little square and an arrow. See how I got that little square and an arrow? Once you get that, click. Automatically creates a clipping mask. It removes the standard background image and replaces that with the text. That's called a clipping mask. You can still go in and adjust from here, but what that gives you, so let's say you just wanted grass and you want to make a solid colored background, you can come down here to the background layer itself, the background layer, go to your color picker, and let's go to, actually let's go to the swatches. Let's go Window, Swatches, and let's select like a light green to put that in our paint bucket, and then you could just paint the whole backdrop a green color, and then you got this get in the game right here. It's kind of an interesting look, and clipping masks are used quite a bit to do some interesting things. We'll actually be using those in an assignment coming up. That concludes Chapter 8.